And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting Saturday Night Wine stream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. This is Drink with Rick, episode 92. I'm Rick. Welcome to the show. Tonight we are going to open another Pinot Noir. I've been on a Pinot Noir kick lately, I guess, but I do love good Pinots. We have had a few of them in the last few weeks. We're going to open another one tonight and see if this cuts the mustard with the rest of them, so to speak. I don't know. That's an old phrase, right? I'm an old guy. if it's up to standards, I should say, to the other ones. Anyway, if you're just joining me for the first time, this is Drink with Rick. This is a stream of consciousness kind of show. I do have some show notes. I have them right here with me. I don't always follow them. I'll look at them from time to time. I don't always follow them because I rely more on the chat, on my interaction with you in the chat, because this show is not about me. It's about the wine, but this is really about you and me getting together on a Saturday night, kicking back, having our favorite libations, and just having a good time, chatting with each other. You are really the one driving the show. You get in the chat, say hi, tell me how you're doing, tell me what you're drinking, tell me what you're not drinking, tell me what you like to be drinking, or tell me what you like to see me drinking, and if I can afford a bottle of it, I'll see if I can drink it too. So, if you're joining me tonight, it is live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. We're live on the Facebook page at Drink with Rick. Also live on YouTube. YouTube channel is Drink with Rick. Live on Twitch. Twitch is Drink with Rick 1. Drink with Rick and the number 1. Join me on the chat live. We've got chats on all three of those platforms. Also, you can join me live on Twitter at Drink with Rick. And tweet me on Drink with Rick and watch the show live there on Twitter at Drink with Rick. You can also watch on the website live at drinkwithrick.com. There's the website right here, drinkwithrick.com. And there's no chat going on there, but you can click on the post for the live show that's going on right now, and you'll have a comment box pop up below that, and you can enter a comment, and I will respond in kind. Of course, you can contact me, Rick at savoyamedia.com. That's Rick at SAVOIAMEDIA.com. Any inquiries, any feedback, plus or minus, be nice. No spam, please. Be nice. Don't be too mean. but give me your honest opinions and honest reviews. And look, if you want to send me a bottle of wine, if you're a winery that you want to send me a bottle of wine to review, I promise I'll give it a fair review, a fair and honest review. You can send it to me. Just contact me there on the website, on the contact form on the website, or at rick@savoyamedia.com, and I'll send you an address where you can ship it to. And it's been done before. We've had a few bottles in the past that I've reviewed. And what else am I missing? Oh, yes, the podcast version of this show. If you can't watch it live, or you're busy, or you're in a commute somewhere, whatever it is, you're on the move, and you want to listen while you do other things, while you're multitasking, while you work, whatever, you can hear the podcast version of the show. This goes out every Monday night. Every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, the show goes out. You can hear it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, your favorite Android device, Stitcher Radio, Blueberry.com, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Amazon Music, Podcast Index. That's the new podcast index that the Podfather put together a couple of months back, and so far it looks pretty good. And also by email, you can if you go to the website here, drinkwithrick.com, subscribe by email. You can just put in your email address, and every time a new episode drops, you'll get that in your inbox. You can hear it. You don't have to do anything, and it's free. Best of all, as I used to say on the Free Stuff Show podcast, it's free, and you can't beat free, right? You can't. So this is what we got tonight, and this is the wine that we're going to open tonight. But before I get to it, let's go take a look at the chat, see who's in the chat. Bonnie's in the chat. Bonnie, it's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. And she says thank you. And, because we're going to give her a birthday toast later tonight. And yes, I've got the fireworks and everything going. So stick around, Bonnie. We're going to have some fun. Open your favorite libation. I know you like wine. Come on. Open up a favorite wine. just kick back a little bit and just have a little wine with me and tell me how you're doing, how your week went. I'll tell you how my week went, but I'd really rather hear about yours. To be honest, my week was a real hectic. But tell me about your week. That's what I want to hear about. And let's see what else we have going on here on Twitch. Cambred's in the chat on Twitch. Cambred says, "Hello, Rick. How are you doing today?" I'm doing just fine. I'm just about to open this wine. We're going to try that. So stick around. We'll have some fun. Proper Barnstar says, "Happy Saturday, Rick. Hope you had a good week. There's a bit of a snowstorm here, but it makes for a cozy evening indoors." Wow. Yeah, snowstorms. You know that. Well, you're snowed in. Nothing else to do. Might as well kick back and open up your favorite libation and just watch this, and hopefully you won't lose power or anything. Hopefully it's not a real serious snowstorm. Hopefully you don't lose power or internet and everything's good there. Let's see what else we have going on. Anything going on YouTube? Nothing much on YouTube per se, and Twitter's a little bit quiet, but that's okay. And anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this wine because I want to tell you a little bit about it. This wine that we're opening up tonight is a Willowlake. It's a Willowlake 2018 Pinot Noir. This is a California wine. We'll learn a little bit more about it in a few minutes, but I just wanted to show you the front here. This is going to be interesting because for a couple of reasons. One, it's another Pinot, and I do like Pinots. And I have some food to pair it with, of course. But this one, if you notice on the image, it's not a typical foil cover. It's a wax cover. I don't get too many of those, but when I do, those are always fun and a little bit easier to open, actually. And yeah, I have a little story about that. If you've seen the the third or fourth wine stream that we did, it was very early on, and we opened up the Le Mistral wine back then. No, it wasn't the fourth. It was sixth, seventh. I don't remember. But so many wines. It's so long ago. But they had a wax cap, and of course I hadn't opened too many of those, and I made kind of a fool of myself on the wine stream live trying to open that thing up, but it won't be so bad this time. I promise. Well, hopefully it won't be bad this time. Okay, so this is the Willowlake, and this is a shot of the back of the label, and I'm going to read what little is there that I can read. Actually, there's another part to it. There are three sides to this. One side just has the government warning, and this side that I have here just says, "Vented and bottled by state-of-the-art Middleton, California, 2018, alcohol 13.5% by volume." Now, this is going to be, I have a little more information on this wine, just a little bit more. I couldn't find a full text sheet on this thing, so, I've got a little bit on it, but the price, we're going to get into the price of this wine in just a few minutes. But before we do that, let me show you what I have to open up this wine with, so to speak, in terms of pairing it. I have some steak, and that should really go with this Pinot. And I have some turkey. This is kind of a smoked turkey, and this is good. Let me get a closer shot of that. Smoked turkey and a steak. I can't turn too closer. It's going to fall out of the plate. And then I have some cheeses. Of course, I have some, it looks like some Colby Jack here, or I think that's what that is. And then I have this new cheddar cheese. This is a cheddar cheese that my wife, she just purchased this evening at BJ's Wholesale Club. She's going to remind me in a minute what it's actually called. It's an aged cheddar, right? It's an aged cheddar, I believe so. And she's waving her hand, saying hi, and hi right back at you, Chi. I see you there. And we, of course, also have the Trader Joe's Double Cream Gouda, our favorite cheese here on the wine stream, because we've never had a miss with it. In fact, there have been a few times it's actually saved a bottle of wine that might not have been as good. So this is what we've got. And we'll go ahead and get prepared and open up the bottle of wine. Let me check the chat one more time, because this chat really is about you guys, about all of you. And Barnstar, he says happy Saturday, and I hope you had a good week. I've got a little story about that, but I'll save it for after the wine's open, and we can relax a little bit. Interesting things this week. Interesting things. But I really once again, I want to hear more about what you're doing. Okay, so we're not going to need the foil cutter tonight because, as I said before, this is a wax. Let me get a closer shot of that. Here we go. This is a wax cover. And so I'm going to go ahead and open it with the, I'm going to have to move over to another corkscrew for the end of the year, because, and this is the end of the year, for the next few episodes, because I think this one's about to give out on me too. All right, so this is what happened the first time. I was going to mention that. The first time I was sitting here picking at this, the Le Mistral. I was picking at it, trying to get it off. I've been drinking wine for years and years, and to be honest, that's like the first time I ever really saw one that was sealed in wax. They've always been sealed in foil, or they weren't sealed at all. So it was just kind of weird. Yeah, I know. As old as I am, and as long as I've been drinking wine, I don't recall ever actually getting a bottle with a wax seal on it. And some of the ones I opened up were had caps, so not a big deal. But so I was picking at it, and then somebody told me, you shouldn't really do that. Why don't you just cut through it like this? Just cut straight through it, and then just open it up, and it comes right up. Duh. What was I thinking? Of course, I was live on a wine stream, and I wasn't really thinking straight at all, because it was only my, 7th or 8th one there, and I was still trying to get the hang of all this and working on all the technical issues, so I wasn't really thinking really clearly, and all the excuses in the book, of course. But I should have known better. Anyway, see, I admit when I'm wrong. I have no shame. I really don't. Okay, so, of course, for the aerator, we're going to aerate the wine with the Veneto wine aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set. And, of course, you can purchase this from Amazon. You can purchase the entire set from Amazon, or you can just purchase this by itself. And I have a banner and maybe a couple links on my website at drinkwithrick.com, where you can click on that and order one if you want from Amazon.com, and maybe I'll get a few cents from it. Maybe not. I don't know. Amazon sent me a thing the other day saying, you better start selling something. I'm like, okay. I don't know. So I hope that this hasn't frozen. Here's Facebook again. Okay, it looks like it's going on okay. Let me switch over to the audio on YouTube, because I can hear that. Or actually, better yet, let me switch over to the audio on Twitch. So there we go. Okay. So that Twitch is up. Proper Barnstar says, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Okay, I'll go with that. And the Square Guy's in the chat. The Square Guy says hi, and right back at you, Square Guy says, hi, Rick. Hope you're well. I'm going to be lurking today, but I'll be in and out of chat. Well, please lurk to your heart's content. And how are you and Darcy doing? Hope you all are doing very well. And stick around. We'll have some fun. Okay, so I've got the aerator in here. I'm going to go ahead and pour this wine. Let me get a closer shot of this. And let's pour just a little bit into the glass. There we go. Very light-bodied, quite light-bodied. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Yes, I am excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with you, always. I'll always look forward to doing this stream on Saturday nights. Always look forward to it. So let's go. Now I can get a little bit of a bouquet right here. I can smell some cherry. I definitely can smell some cherry in that. Let's see. Yeah, right on the nose. Cherry, maybe some black cherry. Maybe a hint of strawberry. And a little, it smells kind of peppery. Kind of smells like there's some, a little bit black pepper. We'll give it a taste here in just a moment. But I want to let it open up first, give it a chance to breathe, open up a little bit. And while it's doing that, let's go ahead and find out a little bit more about this wine. Now I looked around, there wasn't a whole lot on it. I went on Wine Searcher, and I saw on Wine Searcher, it really isn't a whole lot on it. The most was at Winestore. Now I did purchase this at Winestore, one of my favorite stores here to buy wine from, and the local one's in Blakeney, North Carolina, winestore-online.com. And they do ship to many states. They'll ship to many states. They may ship to yours. And what they have here is they have, they're saying that's light-bodied and some floral notes. I already got that in there. It did have some floral notes. They say that it's supposed to pair good with grilled meats and romantic evening. My wife is not into red wine so much. She prefers whites over reds, so I guess on those romantic evenings, I give her a bottle of white, and I'm just drinking this, and I guess it can still be romantic, huh? So here's what I looked at on this Willowlake. This is and it's supposed to be very good. This is supposed to be very good. It's supposed to get some pretty good ratings. But when I looked around online, I didn't really see a whole lot on it. Now, Wine Searcher has it on an average price of $25, but they didn't give me a list of places to purchase from. It just says average price of $25. They really didn't tell me a whole lot. Vivino didn't have a whole lot on this wine either, except they gave it a 3.8 star rating, and they said $25 also. So I guess that's $25 seems to be the price for it. Now, I checked the Wine Store, and their price is $24.99 on their website, $24.99. However, that's not what I paid for it. What I paid for it at Wine Store, and I actually have the receipt right here this time. I left it across the room last week, but this time I have the receipt. It says Wine Store on it. Yeah, you see it? Yeah. And it says Wine Store, it says Willowlake Pinot Noir, $19.99. Yes, $19.99. So I paid $19.99 for this bottle of Willowlake Pinot Noir. It's up to $24.99. So it must have been on a special. I think they did indicate when I called them up a few weeks ago, they did seem to indicate that it was on a sale. So that must have been a temporary sale, probably for Black Friday, or good was it Black Friday or Cyber Monday or something like that. So let's go ahead and get a taste of this. Well, before we do that, let me check the chat again. I don't want to forget anybody in the chat. Okay, Bonnie's with us, I think, and my lovely wife Chi, and on. Let's see, Barnstar. Of course, Barnstar says the Willowlake is very highly rated on Vivino among user reviews. It's always fun to read other people's take on a wine. Yeah, it is. I hadn't really had a chance to go through all the reviews there, but I will tell you what I think of this wine as soon as I taste it. Let's give it a taste, and I think it's opened up a little bit. Get a little bit of a swirl here. Okay, got some swirl going. Got some tears. Well, not a whole lot actually. It's a few. Not really. It's kind of hard to tell because this glass has been through the. I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that, didn't I? I do that. It's traditionally every week. I always say, "Hey, I'm pouring it in my genuine Galway, genuine Irish crystal glass, given to me by my employees at BuyToWayRadios.com. This is from Ireland." I forgot to do that. See, I don't know what's going on with me tonight. I really don't. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. Very, very light wine. Very light. As I said before, it's light-bodied. It looks almost medium-bodied from the lights, and if you're looking at it, at home, this is kind of deceptive on screen. If I hold it up to the light a little bit more, you can see a little more reflection through there. But it is actually a lighter-bodied wine than it looks like on screen. So it is very light, and it also tastes very light. It's not bad. A little bit on the acidic side, which is kind of not abnormal for for a Pinot. But right away, I tasted the cherry that I smelled. I thought I tasted a little hint of strawberry there as well. I don't know. I did smell that. Let me try it again. It's so light. It's a little bit hard to pick out some of these flavors right off the bat. It has a very, very smooth finish. Very smooth finish. In fact, it's a very light and smooth finish. My son Tommy might like this wine because he doesn't like long finishes on it, as I mentioned before. And he mentioned when we tried wine for the first time on that special on his birthday, he might like this wine. But it's, let me try a little bit more of this. It's dry. It's pretty dry. It's not the driest wine I've had, but it's fairly dry. it is a dry wine. It's dry Pinot Noir, red. And let's see, give it another taste. Okay, get a little hint of plum on this now as it's opening up a little bit. I didn't taste that in the very beginning, but I am getting a little bit of plum on it. It's tastes and it's peppery. It's peppery. It is a little peppery. Not heavy, very light once again, because the taste on this wine is very light all the way around. It's just not. It's not overpowering. This is not a very bold wine at all. So it's not really going to overpower your senses like a couple of wines we've had here in the past few weeks where it just really they just explode. We had one. What was it? A few weeks back. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was the. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the Prayers for Sinners. And that one, I think one of them just kind of exploded in my mouth. It was just that bold. This is not like that at all. This is very light. The tannin. There are a few tannins in here, but not as much as a couple of these, the other ones that we had in the last couple of weeks. There's some tannin in here, but it's not that tannic. It's really not. So let's see. I think it's going to need to open up just a little bit more. Maybe I should have decanted this one first. Before I poured it. Or before I poured it into the glass and had it. But we'll bring out the decanter again for the end of the year and try it. I know we decanted another wine that it turned out it really did need to be decanted, and it turned out to be really good. But yeah, I'm getting a few peppery notes in this. It's slightly oaky, not much, but the finish is very quick. It's a very quick finish. It doesn't hang around too long. Not bad. It's not. It's an easy. This is a very easy wine to drink, and if I'm not careful, I might go through this whole bottle. This is a very, very easy wine to drink. This is a very easy wine to drink. Let's go ahead and try pairing it with some food, and because I have some food here to pair it with, and I want to do it before it gets too cold. Before I do that, let's go back and check the chat one more time. Nothing going on. Chris Monty is in the chat on YouTube. Chris, it's great to see you. I'm happy that you're here. He says, "Good evening, sir," and good evening right back at you. You should be getting your the prize that you won here soon, very soon. I got a little story about that too, but hopefully the wait won't be much longer. Let's see. Canebread says, "What's the most expensive wine you've had, and was it worth it?" Well, I got to go back up here a little bit, don't I? Barnstar says it's not a wine night without a ting of the glass. That's true, and for all you ASMR fans out there, there's one more. I hope it wasn't too loud. Canebread says, "What's the most expensive wine you've had, and was it worth it?" Yes, the most expensive wine I've had was and I mentioned this several times on the show in the past, one of my favorite wines, the Caymus, the 40th anniversary Caymus wine that I have the empty bottle of back here. And I opened it up on a Thanksgiving gathering with some friends, and I instantly regretted opening it after I was done with it because it was all gone. It was a little over $100 for that bottle of wine, and it was given to me. It was a gift. I didn't buy it. It was a gift, but I held on to it for a couple of years, and it was worth a little over $100 by then. And yes, it was definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. I'll have to say it tasted like a very expensive bottle of wine that it was. And I really, really enjoyed it. All our guests really enjoyed the wine. They enjoyed it immensely. So that was that most expensive bottle for me. Okay, so where was I? Oh yes, we're going to taste it with some food. Let's get to the food. Yeah, I have nice memories, fond memories of that wine. I might bring that bottle up here one of these days. It's down at the bottom here, and don't want to go grab it right now. But let's go ahead and try it with the steak first. We're going to try it first with this, and my wife said this is a what is this? Is this a filet mignon or something? It's a steak. It's beef. We're going to try that. It's cold now because it's been sitting up here in the studio for a little while. We're going to pair it with the wine. I'm showing my food 30 times. I'm not counting. Let's see. This is really good steak, by the way. Very nice pairing. Very nice pairing. You know what? I have to try that again. Excuse me, folks. I don't mean to eat in front of everybody, but hey, look, don't let me eat in front of you. Go grab something and sit right back down and eat along with me. Doesn't matter what it is. Popcorn, chips, filet mignon, whatever you have. I'm going to try another piece of this. Is this filet mignon? Gee, I think you said it. I know what it was. Tastes good. I like it. It's cold, so it's a little bit harder for me to tell. I do like it, though. Oh, nice pairing. Very nice pairing. Let me check. My wife's in here in the chat. She didn't say. I'm sure she will. All right, let's try it with the turkey. This is some smoked turkey. We'll try it with the wine. And, you know, Pinots, as I said before, over Thanksgiving, we had a Pinot, and I opened one up here, I believe, with the smoked turkey then. Pinots go pretty well with turkey. So, And they go well with this one. That's another good pairing. Another good pairing. I like it. Brings out a little bit of the smoky flavor of the turkey, just a little bit. It does, and as it does with that grilled meat there, it really brings out the grilled aspect of that meat, the grilled flavor. I'm going to clear the palate a little bit. And we'll try it with cheese. And Cambridge says, ooh, fancy. Yeah. I guess you were talking about the wine. Or the filet mignon. I think that's what this is here. All right, let's try it first with the Colby. This is, actually, I think it's a Monterey Jack is what this is. That's a Monterey Jack. Monterey Jack. There. Try it with a little bit more wine. Once again, nice and creamy. The cheese does kind of sort of accentuate the alcohol level. Now, this is 13.5% alcohol from what I read, ABV. But it does, when I tasted the cheese, it did kind of made the alcohol in here just a little bit noticeable of a taste. Now it doesn't. I don't really, a good wine, you won't really get the alcohol. You won't really taste the alcohol in the wine if it's a really good wine. You're tasting more of the other flavors, the other nuances of the wine, but you're really not getting a lot of the alcohol taste. If it's a wine that is not really, you know, if it's before its time or whatever, yeah, you know, or if it's one that has a lot of alcohol in it, you know, 15%, 16% or whatever, yeah, you're going to probably start really tasting the alcohol. But a really good wine, you shouldn't really be tasting the alcohol in the wine. And now what this cheese does, and this wine, you don't, because once again, it's a very light wine, but the cheese kind of brings out that alcohol taste a little bit, which is very interesting. We're going to try this with the cheddar cheese. And this is a cheddar my wife purchased from BJ's, and it is an aged cheddar. She tried a piece of it this evening, and she really liked it. And wow, that is creamy. All right, I have to have another piece of that before I start the wine. This is actually a creamy cheese. Wow. I like that. Cheese. Okay. I like the cheese by itself, but I also like it paired with this wine. Pretty good. Good choice. Good choice. I like that. I'm going to clear the palate one more time. We're going to try it with a creamy Gouda, right? The double cream Gouda. Let's try it with the Trader Joe's. I need a crack or two, I think, to clear the palate with a little bit. There's still a lot of the cheesiness of this cheese. I'm not trying to sound cheesy, but this is a pretty cheesy cheese, and it's pretty good. Okay. Well, that would go good with some crackers, that cheese. All right, let's try it with the Trader Joe's creamy, or the double cream Gouda. Try it with that. I love this Gouda. Great. Comes from Trader Joe's. One of my favorite cheeses. This wine makes that cream, the double cream Gouda, even creamier. I like that. I like that very much. Tell you what, I better set this aside, because I'm going to wind up just sitting here eating that whole platter, and that'll be the end of the show, because I'm just going to sit here and eat. And don't want to do that. I've eaten enough already as it is. All right, let me bring this wine glass up a little bit. And let's get back to the chat. Let's see, Kane Brett says, the dad jokes have returned. Well, yeah, a little bit. We're going to do a dad jokes. We're going to do dad jokes number 2. We had a lot of fun a couple of weeks ago doing the dad jokes. We're going to do that again. Maybe the next week or two, we're going to do that. I think we had a lot of fun last time, so we'll try it again. And yeah, we'll do it. We'll make it another contest. The best and the worst dad jokes. So I'll go away a couple of prizes. And Proper Barnstar says double cream Gouda pairing time. Yes, and it was indeed a good pairing. I really enjoyed it. Okay, now I'm missing chat in here in YouTube, and for the folks in YouTube, I apologize. I was caught up eating this, and let's see. Riser's in the chat. It's good to see you, Riser. It is good to see you. Tell me how you're doing. He says, "You legend." Yes, more, and Cheese in the chat also there. Ryder says, I know the steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? And, yeah, it's... okay, so she's telling me that it is filet mignon. She's confirming that it is filet mignon. And Riser says, enjoy the wine, and I am. Tell me what you're drinking. You drinking anything? If so, tell me what you're drinking. It doesn't have to be wine. Once again, it can be It can be soda, it can be water, it can be beer, it could be, yeah, you could have a lager, a pilsner, or whatever you want to do with a beer, and it could be a rum and Coke, rum by itself, Coke by itself. Uh, Being drinking vodka, whatever. Um, could do some Jaeger bombs. It's okay, just in moderation, of course. But Cheese says, "Told you, Rick, it's a really good cheese," and it is. It is a really good cheese. Thank you. That was a really good choice. Yeah, Chi rather enjoyed this cheese. And Proper Barn Star says, "I hope my nearest Trader Joe's carries the double cream Gouda. It's 80 miles away, so not exactly practical to go down there just for cheese, but one day soon." Wow, nearest Trader Joe's 80 miles away. Yeah, they are kind of, you know, we didn't used to have a Trader Joe when we first moved here. Well, now I came from Florida. Florida was basically my home. I was born and pretty much raised in Florida, and from O-Town in that area, that Orlando area, Central Florida, and I spent the first 2 years of my life actually in the Gainesville area. I was born in Gainesville. I spent the first 2 years of my life living in Flagler Beach with my grandparents, pretty much my mom and dad. But my mom was working, my dad was going to University of Florida Gator, yeah, and then my grandparents kind of looked after me during the day. So I spent a lot of time there, and they had a house right on the beach, on Flagler Beach. My grandfather was actually the mayor of Painters Hill for a while. Here you go. There's some trivia, useless trivia for everyone. But I have a lot of fond memories of those days. Anyway, I digress, as I often do on the show, because that's what this is, a stream of consciousness show. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So I came from Florida. We moved up here to North Carolina. In our first few years here, there really wasn't a Trader Joe's around. In fact, I was lamenting somewhat because Florida, we had everything down there. Of course, we had Disney and all the other tourist traps and stuff, Universal and stuff like that. But everything had just kind of built up around Orlando. I watched Orlando grow from a nothing town in the early 70s to the humongous metropolis it is today. And when I watched this town just go boom, all over the place, and we had everything. We had pretty much everything there. Everything was there. Well, except Trader Joe's. They didn't have Trader Joe's there at the time. But when we moved up to North Carolina, I was kind of lamenting the fact that they didn't have a lot of. There didn't seem to be a lot here compared to Orlando. And every chance we get, we drive down to Orlando to, go out and acquire things that we couldn't acquire here or couldn't find here for one reason or another. So when the Trader Joe's came in, I thought, well, that's pretty interesting, because the last time I'd stepped into a Trader Joe's was when I was visiting my sister out in California. I think that was the last time we went to a Trader Joe's. And so when it came here, I was thinking, my first time in there was like, oh, wow, this is really, really cool. And I love Trader Joe's, and they have a great selection of wines. Not a huge selection, but, well, it is kind of a huge selection, actually. Compared to some places, it's not as big, but what they do have is really, really good. And their cheese selection is also very good. So I really enjoy Trader Joe's. I think it's worth it. I know it's hard to go 80 miles to justify going 80 miles just for cheese, but you know what, Marnstar, I think if you're going for a number of things, not just the cheese, but if you're going to pick out specific wines, if you're going there for certain other foods that you can't find pretty much anywhere else, that can be worth a trip maybe once a month or something to go down there. It could probably be worth it. He says, I miss shopping at, Barnstar says, I miss shopping at TJ's regularly. Yeah. Since this pandemic, I've only stepped into the Trader Joe's locally, and we have one down the street from us, literally, a mile away. And I'm not boasting about that. I'm just saying, that just happened to be where it is. And I don't get down there that much anymore, to be honest. We go down there whenever we can. Anyway, so I digress again. My review, I'm going to give you my final review on this wine at the end of the show, of course. So far, I like it. And one of the things about my final review is as we go through the bottle and as it opens up, as the wine opens up more, you get more of the flavor of the wine. You really tell what the true nature of the wine is as it opens up. So that's what we're going to do. And it's actually tasting, I'm actually liking the taste a little more now. Yeah. It's actually, it's starting to open up now, I should say. And Chris Monty says MGD and pizza. Oh, yeah. And let's see what else we got going on Facebook. Facebook is kind of quiet. I hope people can see me on Facebook because Facebook, the video on Facebook just let me see if I can refresh that again. I don't know what's going on with Facebook here with this, but it seems like I'm just having I've been having issues with Facebook more and more. I don't know what's going on with that. Proper Barnstar says, I'm trying a 2018 Robert Mondavi cab. Normally, I'm pretty skeptical about wines named after people, and it's okay. But I'm pairing it with a very good sharp cheese called Beehive Promontory, and that enhances the wine significantly for me. Beehive Promontory, never heard of that. Beehive Promontory. Huh. Is it like is it a soft cheese, a hard cheese? Is it what kind of cheese is it? What's the consistency of this cheese? I've never heard of it, to be honest. And the Robert Mondavi cabs, yes, I've had the Robert Mondavi cabs. I might have an empty bottle over here somewhere. No, maybe I don't. I don't save all my bottles, just most of them. But I've had the Robert Mondavi wines, and they're okay. They're okay. The cab's okay. They're not bad. They're decent wines. I mean, those are, Robert Mondavi is one of those other mass-produced wine things there, but it's not bad, really. Okay, well, it's starting to get late, so I got to get moving on because there are a few things I do have to touch up on. One of them, of course, is the birthdays. And we're going to do the birthdays now, and hopefully my computer doesn't crap out on me because this is an old computer doing this. So let's see if we can get through the fireworks unscathed. So let's go ahead and start the birthdays. For starters, I want to give a birthday toast to my good friend Rita. Rita and my wife Chi. My wife Chi, of course, is a registered nurse. She's an RN, and that's been a good career for her. And Rita is also an RN, and she and Rita work together in Florida, and we're friends in Florida. And I first met Rita through my wife, through Chi. And when I had my computer business, Rita would call on me she recommended me to her to work on her computer, to repair her computer and everything. At one point, she bought a new computer from me, and I would maintain that and do some computer work for her there from time to time when she needed it. I haven't seen Rita in years, but we are connected on LinkedIn. And she had her birthday. Her birthday was this past Thursday, the 10th of December. Rita, I want to say happy birthday to you. I don't know if you can see this now, but because we're not streaming on LinkedIn, but at the moment. But Rita, I want to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, and may you have many, many, many more. This is for Rita. I'm going to toast Rita again. There's to you, Rita. One more toast. Happy birthday. That's to my friend Rita Davis. Now, another good friend of mine who's having a birthday, and this is leaking on me a little bit. What's this? All right, let me clean that up a little bit. All right. Another friend of mine who's having a birthday, my good friend Sean. Now, Sean, I've talked about Sean many times on this show. Sean and I met at Podfest back in 2018, yes. And we hang out together along with my good friend Ed Panis. and we and Tommy and the four of us, we've kind of palled around together at Podfest a bit, and Sean is, as a matter of fact, he was one of the first people I met at Podfest, and when we first got there. And Sean is an attorney. He's an attorney. He's a debt relief attorney. He specializes in debt relief from foreclosures and things like that, and debt consolidation and things. And he has a podcast called Crushing Debt. And I listen to it. I'm a regular listener of his podcast. I love listening to his podcast. He has some great guests on. They all dispense some great advice on crushing debt. I highly recommend it. This podcast is called Crushing Debt Podcast, crushingdebt.com. And he's a Florida attorney. Anyway, Sean wrote a book called Crushing Debt after his podcast, and I've given a few copies away. I have a copy of his, he signed a copy of his book for me here last year, and we've given away a couple of copies before. Might give away another copy or two during the holidays. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Sean's birthday is the 15th, this coming Tuesday, and I'm going to give a great shout out to my good friend Sean Yester. He does a fine job with this podcast, and I hope you and your family are doing very well, Sean. Sean, here's to you. Happy birthday. And I'm going to toast you again. Sean, I hope, I wish I could share a drink with you on your birthday, but this is the next best thing. Sean, here's to you once again. Happy birthday. And may you have many more. Many, many, many more. And I to be honest, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to Podfest this year in March. It depends on how this pandemic thing goes. We'd like to go. But if we can, it'd be great to see Sean and Ed and all of our friends, our podcast friends, Bonnie as well. This is another two, and yes, I'm going to toast Bonnie here in a few moments. I want to toast my good friend Ray. Better pour a little more wine for him. I don't know if he can even got, because I tagged, I tagged most everybody except I couldn't really tag Ray at the moment. But Ray is a good friend of mine from way back when I was doing tech support at a company, and he and I worked together. He's in Japan now. He's been in Japan for a number of years. Very talented guy, knows his tech stuff very well. Talented artist, does some video work. Ray has, and I've seen some of his work too. That he's posted in the past. And Ray's a really cool guy, and he really kind of helped me out in a couple of times when I was working there. We were working together, and he was one person I always enjoyed talking to, at work, and just a really, really nice guy. Anyway, here's to Ray. Ray, your birthday is the 16th. That's Wednesday. Here is to you, Ray. Happy birthday. Here's my good friend Ray Espy. And I hope your birthday is going to be great. Now, I want to toast another friend of mine, a fellow podcaster, Bonnie. Bonnie, she has her podcast, and she's also, you know what? I met her. I think I met her the second year I was at Podfest. Really, really nice lady. Really good lady, and also very smart. But I really enjoy her posts on Facebook, and she does a lot of things in business related for podcasting. And I wanted to give Bonnie a shout out and say happy birthday to you, Bonnie, because your birthday is Thursday, the 17th. Happy birthday to Bonnie. Happy birthday. May you have many, many more. I'm going to toast Bonnie again. I'm toasting everyone else. I'm going to toast Bonnie again. I might toast her again next week, too. And Bonnie, you're in the chat. If you're still in the chat, I wanted to, please, Bonnie, if you're still in the chat, post a link to your website and everything. Please do that. Post a link. You have my permission. It's okay. Look, I know that some of the rules on here about no self-promotion. But when I say post your link, let everybody know where you are, where they can hear your podcast, and your website to go learn more about you and what you do for fellow podcasters, because there are a number of fellow podcasters that watch the show here and that listen to it later. Please post your link in the chat here, and I'll make sure it gets in the show notes for the podcast version of the show. I'm going to do that for you because it's your birthday. So give yourself a little self-promotion. Post your stuff in there. Anyway, once again, Bonnie, here's to you. Happy birthday. To my good friend, Bonnie Frank. And one more person that I want to toast, even though his birthday's coming up next week. Well, it's next week. Yeah. It's towards the end of the week, but and I'll probably toast him again next week for that. But good friend of my son, he's also a really nice guy, Nick. I wanted to give a special birthday shout out to Nick. Nick is a co-host of the Cube Command podcast, along with my son Tommy. He and Tommy have pretty much grew up together here in Charlotte. They met, I think, they were schoolmates from very early on, I think second grade or so, and they've been friends for, they've pretty much grown up together, and they're good friends now, and a really, really nice guy. He's somebody that he works hard, dedicated person, and he's just super cool. And I want to say to Nick, I want to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Nick's birthday is coming Friday on the 18th. I'm going to give you a second toast too. And the other thing about Nick, aside from co-hosting the Cube Command podcast and being actually part of the Savoy Media Network, which, if you know, the Savoy Media Network, well, I'll move over to that later. That's where we host our show. That's where our shows come from. But he's a photographer. Nick is a photographer and is taking some really nice photos. I think he has a talent for photography, and takes his camera along with him whenever he's gone with us. He's accompanied us on a number of trips, and takes his camera with him too. So he loves photography, and he's also a gamer. He's on Twitch. His Twitch handle is iconic, and you check out his Twitch channel. He does some gaming there. So if you're a fan, if you're on Twitch and you're you watch a lot of game streams, you check out iconic, his stream. I think sometimes I host his stream when he's not there. And Tom Antio's in the chat. Tom Antio, he says happy birthday to Nick, and right back at you. Here's one more toast to Nick. Nick, our good friend Nick, 18th, December 18th, your birthday. Happy birthday, and may you have many, many, many more. Toast to Nick. Okay, I think that does it for the birthdays. This is what we're drinking once again. We're drinking the Willowlake 2018 Pinot Noir. So far, I like it. So far, so good. It's very, very light body. This is a very easy wine to drink. It is a very easy wine to drink. So I like it. I like it so far. I do. So we're going to do some more toasts. Let's toast a few national days. How about that? We'll toast a few national days. We've got a few national days to talk about, I guess, for a few minutes. It was getting kind of late for that because, as usual, I droned on, didn't I? And Chris Montes, love wine. Yeah, and you know what? Wine is good for your heart, too. In moderation, of course, but it is good for your heart. Okay, so Barnstar says, mass-produced wines are a gamble. They remind me of the scene from Sideways where Paul Giamatti and his friends stop by that pretentious winery where he guzzles down the wine-tasting spit. Yeah. Another classic scene from another now classic film. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I'm trying to not think about that scene. But anyway, anything else going on Facebook? Okay. Twitter's kind of quiet there. Good. All right. Good. I don't know what to say about that. Okay, where was I? Oh, yes, national days. I have a few national days, so let's toast that. If everybody's in a toasty mood, and I hope you are, let's go ahead and toast some national days. Today is December 12th, 2020, and December 12th is right off the bat, National Ambrosia Day. Yes, National Ambrosia Day is today. I have thoughts on ambrosia. They're not necessarily good ones. A lot of people love ambrosia. Okay, a lot of people like it. I know my wife does. She likes ambrosia, and a Filipino dish that's a variation. It looks very much like ambrosia, and I forgot what she calls it, but I call it something else. But she loves it. It tastes really good, and it's basically a Filipino version of ambrosia. But ambrosia is one of those things I could not really get into. I mean, I know some people serve it. I've seen it at parties. It's been set in front of me before, and I just couldn't. It's not something I could eat. Now, a lot of people love ambrosia. They love it. Me, it's just not my thing. I think for one reason is because they make, if you do it right anyway, the recipe calls for coconut, coconut milk or whatever in there. And I don't do coconut. I'm not a big fan of coconut. So for that reason, I really that reason alone, I'm not really into ambrosia. But the other thing is that, don't hate me for this, okay? It looks... Okay, let me put it this way. One time I was at I think it was a cafeteria. I was going through the line at a cafeteria, as I recall. I remember saying it was something like that. I think it was a cafeteria somewhere. And they had some ambrosia in one of the pans, and they're serving up. And I walked by it, and I pointed at it, the server, and I said, "Ooh, who got sick?" And they looked at me like I was from Mars because they really didn't get the joke at all. And it was intended to be a joke, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like to me. It's just, I can't eat that. Anything that looks like that, I can't really eat. I can't. I'm sorry. So you can toast Ambrosia Day. I'm not going to do that. National Ambrosia Day. I know I've got some comments on this. I know people are going to comment on this. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for those. Maybe. Okay, so ambrosia. Do you like ambrosia? Do you like it? I can't. Just something that looks like that. I can't eat. I just can't. I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. And it's probably very good. It's probably very good. It's just not for me. So, ambrosia. Anyway, let's see. What other national days do we have going on here? We've got, I lost my list. Here it is. National Ding-a-ling Day. Today is National Ding-a-ling Day. Okay, I'll drink to that and I'll tell you why. Do you know what National Ding-a-ling Day is? This is what National Ding-a-ling Day is. I looked it up. National Ding-a-ling Day is a day where it's kind of more like ring-a-ling than ding-a-ling. Now, I know it's an old expression where you call some people ding-a-lings because they're kind of a little dorky or they kind of, yeah, they're not on all thrusters. You call them ding-a-lings, right? But no, National Ding-a-ling Day is not about that, okay? National Ding-a-ling Day is where you call up or give a ring, on the phone, like in the old days before cell phones came about, and you just kind of call them on the cell phone or text them. Ding-a-ling Day is where you call up somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time, or that you haven't seen in a long time, you haven't conversed with, you've kind of lost touch with over time. And what you do is you're kind of reconnecting with them. Just calling them out of the blue. You call them out of the blue and you say, "Hey, how's it going? I know we haven't talked in a long time, but how are you doing? I'm doing fine." And you just kind of reconnect a little bit and catch up. I've done that on a number of occasions. I kind of enjoy doing that actually, because there's some people that maybe from my life years and years ago that I've, during day-to-day life, you just don't have time to talk to everybody. And then there are people that you think about, that guy, I haven't talked to him long. That lady, I haven't talked to her in ages. I should give so-and-so a call and just see how they're doing and call them up and say hi, and catch up a little bit. That's National Ding-a-Ling Day. That's what Ding-a-Ling Day is. So here's to National Ding-a-Ling Day. Everybody should do that every once in a while. And you never know. You might actually make someone's day by doing that. Maybe they've been thinking about you, or maybe they thought you forgot all about them, and it was like, so-and-so doesn't care about me anymore, or whatever, and I'm just moving on with my life. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they get a call from you, and it's like, oh, cool, and you guys catch up. I think that's kind of a neat thing. So here's the National Ding-a-Ling Day. I'll drink to that. I know everybody has someone who they've had to deal with that. Barnstar, Cambridge says never had it. I've never had it. You mean ambrosia? Barnstar says same, never tried it. But on that note, what is your take on mead, Rick? I've never tried that either. And is ambrosia anything like it? I'll have to get back with you on that. I don't know, because I've never tried ambrosia. I've seen it a lot, but I've never tried it. Barnstar says I'm a ding-a-ling in the other sense of the word. Oh, don't sell yourself short. You're fine. You're fine. No worries there. Okay. I consider myself a ding-a-ling in many ways. Look at that. I'm doing this show. I'm bearing my soul for everyone, or the whole world. I'm a ding-a-ling in that sense. So my wife considers me one, that's for sure. Okay, let's see. What else we have here? Today is also Gingerbread House Day. It's today for another 52 minutes. It's Gingerbread House Day. I love gingerbread. I love gingerbread cookies. I love gingerbread. We had gingerbread coffee. We bought some gingerbread coffee, and it was great. Now, the first few cups I had, it was really good. It tasted just like gingerbread. And then after you have gingerbread coffee for about a couple of days, then you're kind of like really sick of it and you don't want it anymore. But at least me. But for the first couple of days, gingerbread coffee is new and it smells great in the morning, and it's like fresh gingerbread cookies, and it's like, wow, gotta have it. Then, after a few days, it's just, yeah. And so, Gingerbread House Day. We did build you know what? My kids built gingerbread houses a couple of times. I helped once. I don't know if any of my nieces are in the chat tonight. But I remember one year, one holiday season, they came to visit us. Elise and I'm talking about Elise and Angela now. Okay, they came to visit us for the weekend, and one of the things that and T and Tommy I think were there, and one of the things that she did was she bought a gingerbread house kit, and they spent the weekend building this gingerbread house from this gingerbread house kit on the kitchen table, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I think they ate a lot of the decorations on it, but. And then it sat around people ate a little bit about it, and then it sat around for a while, and then she threw it out a couple months later. But, because it was getting pretty nasty by then. But that's always kind of cool. We've done the gingerbread house thing a couple of times. I think T and Tommy, when they were kids, they built another one at some point. And it was kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Messy a little bit, but kind of fun. So here's a gingerbread house day. I have no issues with gingerbread houses. I have no issues with eating them as long as they're still fresh. Gingerbread House Day. Now, ask me about fruitcake. That's a little different story. And we talked about that this morning. My family and I did. We had a little discussion about fruitcake this morning. I don't know where that came from, but Poinsettia Day. Poinsettia Day is today. Poinsettia Day. This is the time of the year for everybody gets one, right? Is it poinsettia or poinsettias or what? I don't know. I don't care. It's a plant, and it looks pretty, but it's poisonous, I think, and you're not supposed to eat it. I don't know if anybody who would. It's just, I don't know. It's a plant. Okay. Tomorrow is December 13th. Tomorrow, oh, this is good. You're going to love this. This is good. Tomorrow is National Cocoa Day. When I say cocoa, I'm not talking about Coco the clown. I'm talking about cocoa, like hot cocoa, hot chocolate. Love hot chocolate. Love hot cocoa. Here's a National Cocoa Day. I'll drink to that. Sure, I didn't know it had a day, but I guess it does. Good. National Violin Day is tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. National Violin Day is tomorrow. National Day of the Horse, Senate Resolution 452. That's when they made the horse. They made a national day for horses, National Day of the Horse. And the reason it was done was to kind of honor the animal horse, is because horses have a long history with man anyway, right? But the horses in America, they really helped. They did a lot to help build this country. I mean, they didn't take axes to the trees and cut them down and stuff and build the railroads themselves, but they did all the hauling. They did all the heavy labor, all the heavy work to do all that. And so here's the horses, and plus some people have made a lot of money winning horse races, and I'm sure they're thankful to those horses for that. Here's the National Horse Day, National Day of the Horse. I'll drink to that. Wow, the last time I rode a horse was I was a kid. It was in North Carolina, actually, in Salisbury. I had a friend who we had a neighbor who owned a horse, and we'd get him. She'd bring him around, and sometimes we'd ride him around. I hadn't ridden a horse in years. I think I can still. I don't know if I think I still remember how to ride a horse. I don't know if it's like riding a bike where you never forget. I mean, I know how to mount a horse and dismount, but it's been so long since I've ridden one. I don't. I got to get back out and get on a horse one of these days because it was fun. I enjoyed riding horses when I did it, but it's just been so long. Anyway, National Horse Day, National Day of the Horse. Okay, we're coming up to Pick a Pathologist Pal Day. Okay, I've got to prepare you for this, all right? Pick a Pathologist Pal Day. You know what a pathologist is, right? I mean, we're talking about like a coroner. We're talking about, a pathologist. So I'm reading this. I took this right from the nationaldaycalendar.com website because I had to kind of read this verbatim. So my apologies to the CEO of nationaldaycalendar.com, Marlo, if you're watching this now or watching it later, my apologies to you, but I kind of had to read this verbatim, and I'm just giving you full credit that this comes from your website at nationaldaycalendar.com. Marlo Anderson is the CEO of nationaldaycalendar.com. The new calendars are out, by the way, so if you get a chance, go get one. And I think we're going to give a couple away at the end of the year. Maybe I think we're going to do a special New Year's Eve. I think that's what I'm looking at doing, is maybe a special, like a 1-hour New Year's Eve special. And then maybe we'll give away a couple of Marlo's calendars there. National Day Calendar. They're fun. They're fun calendars. Anyway, so here's Pick a Pathologist Day, and I'm reading this, taken from their website. Pick a Pathologist Day on December 13th encourages us to make friends with a pathologist or coroner because we never know what tomorrow holds. This is true. We never know what tomorrow holds. This does sound kind of morbid, actually. Well, I mean, if your friend's a coroner, that's fine, but, while life is short, making friends with a pathologist or coroner may improve our outlook on life. Despite life's challenges, most of us overcome them. A pathologist and coroner see some of the worst of the ills that can befall us. This is true. If they can be jovial, then rest assured, living life to our fullest while we can may be the key. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but It's basically it's to make yourself feel better. When you look at like I used to tell my kids when we drive by the cemetery, it's like, look, kids, that's where the dead people live. But if you look at some, there's that old saying that if you look around, somebody always has it worse than you. Well, yeah, if if they're dead, they definitely don't have it any better. That's for sure. So I guess pick a pathologist day is to make you feel better about being alive, because the 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 other thing could be worse. I mean, it could always be worse, right? It could be worse. Yeah. All right, so pick a pathologist day. I'll drink to that. We have one more day here. But before we do that, let's go to the chat. Let's see. Chris Montes is still in the chat. My wife Cheese is still in the chat. Riser, I hope you're still there. And he says, enjoy the wine. I am enjoying this wine. But most of all, I'm enjoying the fact that you're here with me. So speak up. Tell me what's going on. Tell me how you're doing. Let's check Facebook. Nothing going on Facebook. It's kind of quiet tonight on Facebook. It has been the last week or so. We'll talk about that a little bit. Most of the action happens on Twitch and also actually YouTube. There's been more action there lately. Barnstar says, I think fruitcake is banned in most countries worldwide. Sorry, tried it once, won't try it again. Is it really? I wouldn't think so, but probably should be. Now, I don't have a problem. I like cheese. I can eat a slice of cheesecake, one little slice, and then I'm done. We had this discussion earlier today with she and I both agreed with that. Tommy doesn't like cheesecake. Oh, he likes cheesecake. He doesn't like fruitcake. I don't recall what Tia said about it, but yeah, fruitcake is something that. I can eat a slice of it, and then I'm done with it for the year, maybe the next couple of years. Fruitcake is also the kind of thing that you pass around from people. Like you get it as a gift, and they're like, okay, oh, this is a nice gift. It's a thought that counts, right? Fruitcake. And then you kind of set up on the shelf, and then, towards the end of the season, you're thinking, I didn't give so-and-so a gift. Maybe I can send them this fruitcake. So you send that fruitcake to them, and then they get the fruitcake, and they say, oh, well, fruitcake. Tells you what they think of us. And so they take that fruitcake, and then the next year they let it sit on their shelf for a year, and then the next year they say, oh, you know what? I got the perfect gift for so-and-so. Let's send them this fruitcake. And then before you know it, you've got a fruitcake. You got a 10-year-old fruitcake that's been passed around to about 20 different people, and until somebody decides to either eat it and get sick or throw it out. Hopefully throw it out at that point. I don't know. Here's the fruitcake. Do you know that fruitcake is a big business? They make a ton of fruitcakes every year. I mean, people buy these things and they make a ton of these fruitcakes. More than a ton, I'm sure, because they're heavy. Fruitcakes are heavy, and they sit in your stomach too. But people buy fruitcakes. What do they buy them for? Besides doorstops and besides giving the people they don't like, and or decorations that they throw out in a couple of years. I don't know, but fruitcake. Here's a fruitcake. Like I said, it doesn't taste bad. I like having a slice of fruitcake, one slice, and that's it. And then I'm done. And then I think, oh yeah, I remember how bad this was, and I won't have it for another 2 or 3 years. And then 2 or 3 years later, I'll like, hey, let's buy a fruit. I did that to Chi last year. I said, hey, Chi, let's buy a fruitcake. We buy a fruitcake, took it home, we cooked a couple slices. And I'm like, oh, yeah, now I remember why I don't like fruitcake. We don't eat this stuff. So here's a fruitcake. And every few years, we'll forget again and go buy another one. That square guy says, cheesecake is a food of the gods. Fruitcake is serviceable. Probably, yeah. Cambria says, cheesecake is one of my favorite cakes. How dare you? No, I didn't mean that. I said cheesecake by accident. It was a slip of the tongue. It was actually the wine talking there. It was a cheesecake. I love cheesecake. Don't get me started on cheesecake, okay? I love cheesecake. A lot of different kinds of cheesecake. And Square Guy says, love me a bit of fruitcake. It's okay. It's okay. If you like fruitcake, I don't mean to be putting down. Well, I guess I did. But look, if you like fruitcake, no worries. It's fine. Actually, I do. I can eat a piece of fruitcake. But that stuff is really heavy. And once you have a piece, you're kind of done for a year or two. You know, it's like, oh, man, I've got to work this stuff out. And it takes a while. That stuff is really heavy. But I'm sure it's good for you. I'm sure it's healthy for you. I mean, I don't know how what they do for preservatives there, but I tell you what, cheesecake will preserve itself for a long, long time. You can put that on the shelf and take it on in 6 months and eat it. And it's still fruitcake. May not be edible, but it's still fruitcake. So anyway, yeah. Barnstar says a begrudging toast of fruitcake. That counts. I'm having a good time with the fruitcake. Okay. I had more fun with talking about fruitcake than I've had eating it, that's for sure. Cheese says, be a good hubby every day or I'll serve you fruitcake. Okay, all right. Now, that's for the record. My wife says, be a good hubby every day or I'll serve you fruitcake every day 3 times a day. Please, that would be cruel. That would be cruel. Okay. If Facebook is quiet, I guess they didn't like my fruitcake thing. So, anyway, there's one more national day. There's one more national day we have to look at, and that is National Guard Day. If you're in the U.S. now, for those in Australia, in the U.K., and in other countries, in the U.S. we have the National Guard, and the National Guard has been an institution since I want to say since, and I'm probably going to get the date wrong, but I want to say since 1636. I'm terrible with some of these dates. I was terrible on the last date I was on before I met Chi. Forget that. Okay, that was a bad joke. Trying to wedge that in somewhere. Okay, so I'm not editing anything out of this podcast. Nothing. So anyway, so 1636, I think, was what they attribute the birth of National Guard Day, because the National Guard birthdays, because before we actually had an army, before even the Continental Army existed, all volunteer army or all volunteer protection group, I guess. It was an army of some sort, and it was military. It was all made up of volunteers, all volunteer. And this was started by very early on, when the settlers decided they needed some protection, and they formed a national, kind of a guard. They didn't call it the National Guard; they called it something else. I don't remember what it was right offhand. But they formed this guard to kind of protect them. And then the National Guard kind of evolved from there. And what the National Guard is, of course, is made up of servicemen and women who volunteer. They're all part of the National Guard. A lot of them volunteer their services. But the National Guard is there to kind of protect us on our own home turf. And especially they're there to serve us not just for any attacks on our home turf, but also to deal with things like, sometimes the National Guard is called out for national emergencies, national disasters, like multi statewide flooding disasters or natural weather disasters, things like that. So they're often there to perform various responder services in some way, and protection services. So the National Guard has been. I remember that the National Guard was called out during Katrina, during Hurricane Katrina, because one of my coworkers was worked. He did some time in the National Guard. He was part of that, and he would be called away from his job or at work to go serve for a weekend or for a couple of weeks or whatever in the National Guard to deal with Hurricane Katrina and down New Orleans. And he was stationed there for a couple of weeks, and then he came back to work, and then but that's what the National Guard does. I want to say thank you to all the servicemen and women who serve in the National Guard. I want to give a special toast to you. Here's to you and the National Guard. Thank you. Thank you. And happy National Guard birthday. And I'm going to toast you again because I can. Happy birthday to the National Guard. I think that does it for our national days this week. Let's go back to the chat for just a minute and see what's going on. Nothing going on Facebook? Very quiet on Facebook tonight. Very, very quiet. But Twitch is happening. And Proper Barnstar says, cheers to the National Guard. I saw what that Square Guy says. It says, Barnstar says, a begrudging toast to fruitcake. That counts. And the Square Guy says, I appreciated the effort. He says, Square Guy says, how much of the wine have you had, Rick? I don't know. You said LIL, so how much wine have you had tonight? I think that was supposed to be an LOL, but it's LIL. But I'll ask you, how much wine have you had tonight, Square Guy? I'm just kidding, of course. He says, hey, don't turn that back around on me. Look, there's something I want to do here before we go any farther. Square Guy, please post your link to your channel. I do host your channel when I'm not streaming, by the way. When Bob Ross isn't muscling his way onto the channel, but please post your link to your channel on here on Twitch, so everybody knows where you are and where they can reach you and how they can go see you. There you go. Thank you. Very good. Very good. So that does it for all of that. And I had a couple other things I wanted to talk about real quick, and it's getting late, and it's getting late. And I told my wife, as usual, that I'd be done early. I think we're already past that point. Okay, I do want to mention a couple things first. Before I do, let me go to the weather, because it's something I do need to do. Winter's coming. A lot of weather events that are coming, I'm sure. It's 2020 after all. We still have another few weeks of 2020. Why not? Who knows? We probably haven't seen the worst of the weather yet, right? So get yourself a weather radio. Go to ready.gov, in the U.S. anyway, go to ready.gov, put together an emergency preparedness kit at ready.gov. Make sure you are prepared for an emergency, weather emergency, whatever. As I mentioned before, and I mentioned this last week, I'm a Skywarn spotter, and we do that sort of thing where we report weather conditions and things like that. I'm really big on that, on safety, on weather. I've been in the middle of a bunch of hurricanes in Florida. I'm from Florida, so we've had tornadoes, we've had hurricanes, we've had all kinds of weather events, and I've had to ride out a bunch of these storms. And I've ridden out hurricanes when I worked at Disney. I rode out hurricanes. We talked about that before. Told you those Disney stories, and I'm really, really big on the safety on that, because you just never know when the next weather event is going to occur. So go to ready.gov, put yourself an emergency kit together, not just for hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that, but for any kind of an emergency. They have links there for how to prepare for various different emergencies. The third item on that list is a weather radio. Weather radios are important. Get a weather radio, and that's the wrong thing there. There we go. Weather radio. Go to buy2wayradios.com. You can choose from different weather radios. You can choose from all kinds of radios. When a disaster like this hits, the first responders are out searching for survivors and people and things like that, very often your cell phone is going to go down. And the only way that you have, the only means of communication you're going to have is a radio, an old-fashioned two-way radio. And you can find these at buy2wayradios.com. So if you go to buy2wayradios.com, use the promo code WINESHOW, WINESHOW, that's WINESHOW. You can save 5% off your entire order. It's not just the radios, and it's not just the weather radios, but any kind of radio, if you're into radio, or even if you're not. Radio accessories, things like that. You can save 5% off your order, on your entire order. Now, for full disclosure, I work for Buy2Way Radios. I am the product manager for Buy2Way Radios. However, just so the FTC knows, that I'm not making any extra for this. This is just a promo code they gave me. They say use it, give it to your listeners and your viewers. And this is for you. This is for you. We don't want to make any extra on this, okay? We lose 5%, okay? This is for you watching and listening to Drink with Rick to use when you're preparing for that. So please get yourself a weather radio, get yourself some kind of radio so you have some protection in case of a weather emergency. And that's my contribution for the week in that. Okay, so we're getting close to the end of the show. We're going to have to close up here soon. But Tacomaniac 444 is in the chat, just dropped in the chat, said hi, and hi right back at you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. And he says, I have a question. Taco Maniac, okay, 444, I have a question. Okay, what's your question? Sure, I'll be happy to answer your question. My life's an open book. What have I got to hide? What have I got to hide? That's what we're here for. That's what this is all about. So, yeah, let me know what your question is. Ken Britt says, love living in the Sacramento area where nothing ever happened. Don't you get earthquakes around there, Ken Britt? So I'll have an emergency kit just in case. Always. You never know. You know, emergencies can happen anywhere. They can happen anywhere. There's no safe place on this earth. If you live on this earth, as we all do, there is always something, you know, in Florida and on the East Coast and in the Gulf Coast and in those areas, you got hurricanes. You know, out in the Midwest, you have tornadoes. You can get tornadoes anywhere, actually. They show up anywhere. We've had them here in North Carolina. You get snowstorms up in the upper Northwest. You get huge snowstorms. Up in Canada, you get humongous snowstorms and ice storms and things like that. If you're out on West Coast too, what is it? You got a lot of things. Wildfires. You get the it was a terrible year for wildfires out, because I know my sister's area. She posted some photos earlier today on Facebook about a lot of the wildfires just in her town, just in her area. It was a terrible year for wildfires out in California, Southern California, and Northern California, Washington State, and a couple other areas. I think Colorado got some of that too, didn't they? You know, you've got tsunamis. If you're out towards the Pacific, especially, you have to worry about tsunamis. And even on the West Coast, too. A lot from earthquakes in California. There's always something. No matter where you go, there is going to be something to be concerned about. There's going to be some kind of weather or event or anomaly that you have to be concerned about. So that's why everybody should have some protection. Everybody should be prepared. And look, if we ever have a nuclear holocaust, we'll better be prepared for that too, I guess. So hopefully that won't happen. Cambridge says, we have minor earthquakes, but I've never experienced them. They always happen at night here, and I'm a really deep sleeper, so I don't wake up. And he says, okay, so you know what? We woke up to an earthquake. It's kind of rare for us to have really big quakes. I mean, every once in a while you have just a slight tremor in North Carolina, but we, some months back, I think earlier this year, spring, summer, we woke up to our bed shaking, and I thought at first that it was the dog, because the dogs will sleep with us sometimes, and sometimes they'll do something, he's just bumping himself against the bed, and I thought maybe he was doing that, but it was a very, very forceful shake. I'm like, oh, that can't be the dog. We were awakened by an earthquake. We actually had an earthquake. It was like 5.6 or 5.9 on the Richter scale, and it woke everybody up. And that was kind of weird because the last time I experienced an earthquake of any sort, of tremor of any sort, was also when I was living in North Carolina, up in Salisbury. But I was a kid then, so I don't really remember much about it. But that shook us up, literally. Another dad joke. So anyway, you just gotta be prepared. You always have to be prepared. That's just a fact of life. No matter where you are, no matter where you live, it's always going to be something. So you just want to be prepared. All right, I've got the post. It's going to mention something about my week here, but I know everybody had an interest. Their things going on with them during the week. I had something going on with me. As you know, I work for by two-way radio, so one of the things I do is I do product videos, and we've had a new product come out the last couple of weeks, new GMRS mobile radio, and I'm in the process of doing a product video for it now. So my whole studio is in disarray. This area is kind of like reserved for the wine stream, but the whole rest of the studio here is in disarray because I've got lights and everything going on everywhere, and it's just a real mess because I'm shooting scenes for this new product video, and I've got more to shoot. I'm not done shooting it yet. I'm gonna have to pick it up on Monday, but I've been shooting that the last couple of days. First thing off the bat, I lost a light. I just set up to start shooting. My boss said, "Yeah, how's the video going?" I'm like, first thing right off the bat, I had a light arc on me and I lost a light, so I had to kind of work around that, and I'm gonna have to replace that lamp here, that light. But a lot of stuff going on this week. Just a lot of stuff happening this week. It's been very interesting, but kind of hectic for me anyway, on the day job. So and that's one more reason why I enjoy being here with you on Saturday night. I can just kind of forget all that for a few hours. For a little bit of time, I can just forget all that and just have a good time with you. Barnstar says, I remember the 89 San Francisco Bay Area earthquake. Well, I was only 10 at the time, but it was an eye-opener to me that disasters can strike anywhere at any time, so I'm definitely a believer in preparedness. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, so I wanted to give you a quick update on my computer. You know that we're running on this old PC, and I'm building a new computer, a couple of old PCs. Trying to build a new computer, preparing for that so we can do all kinds of fun things with this wine stream and edit some of my films that I've had transferred to video already, and that I can show you guys later on. But I'm working on that. I've got a couple more pieces to put together. I have to go get the processor. We're short on processors everywhere, and the ones that are available are very expensive, so I'm trying to get that done. want to purchase a processor, and then I have to purchase a legal copy of Windows, of course, because I do it all legal. And then I'll be ready to put this new computer together, hopefully in the next few weeks, so we can get it all together. Maybe by the end of the year, we'll see what happens. And then we'll be able to do all kinds of cool things. And I think that's about all I've got right now. So in summary, this is what we've been drinking once again. This is the Willowlake 2018 Pinot Noir. It's a California wine. Not sure what part of California it's from. It's, Middleton, California. Okay, that's where it was bottled anyway. Vented and bottled. Okay. 13.5% alcohol by volume in the 750 milliliter bottle. I will say that it is very light-bodied, very light-bodied. It is, it's a little bit tannic, not much. You know, the tannins are very light. I'll say that it's very, very smooth wine, especially on the finish. The finish is very smooth and very light. It's a dry wine. It's kind of medium acidity to it, and the flavors, cherry. I was tasting some cherry, a little hint of strawberry, some plum. I got some peppery notes to it, and a little bit oaky, just a little bit oaky, but yeah, that's what I got. But the finish was just so short. It didn't really linger that much. And it's an easy wine to drink. This is a very easy wine to drink. Look how much I've gone through already. Oh my goodness, I'm ashamed to show this to you. Here I am drinking responsibly. This is a very easy wine to drink, just because it's kind of light. And it's a good thing it's not more than 13.5% alcohol. All right, so I'd be a little on the loopy side by now. And who's to say I'm not? Okay, but I've been procrastinating a little bit here. Y'all procrastinate? I procrastinate sometimes. I'm procrastinating on a number of things. Procrastinating on ending the stream tonight because I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time with you, with all of you. And I appreciate you being here with me tonight. Look, so it's time for me to shut it down. I can't procrastinate any longer. How do you deal with procrastination? I have a tough time dealing with procrastination. I really do. How do you deal with procrastination? I tell you how I deal with procrastination. I wait for it to go away. That's how I deal with it. But I can't procrastinate any longer. It's time to end the show tonight. I really hate to do this because I really enjoyed it. I had a great time with you. I really did. I hope you had half as much fun here with me as I have with you because it's been just great. I want to thank everybody who joined me in the chat tonight. I want to thank Bonnie for stopping by. I hope she's here watching this. My lovely wife, Chi, of course. Tom Antio. I want to thank... Wow, you know what, Twitch, you're winning the game here as far as where we're streaming. K and Bread, I want to thank you, K and Bread, for being here. Proper Burn Star, and that Square Guy, of course, as always. And who else? I don't want to miss anybody. Tom Antio, of course. Am I missing anybody in this chat? I hope not. On YouTube, I want to thank Chris Montes for being here in the chat. Thank you. Your prize will be coming here shortly. Riser, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you for showing up, and please stop by again. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. Because, once again, the show is... You make the show. I'm just part of it, but you make the show. This is really your show. And Cambridge says, glad to be here. Good night, Rick. He says, personally, I don't have a way to stop procrastinating. Barnstar says, I procrastinate a lot. I wait until the last minute every time. Oh, don't we all? Especially when we're having fun doing something, or we just, or if it's a job that we don't really want to get to right. Yeah, I know. I can go off on that. No more rants from me tonight. Anyway, I want to thank you for being here with me. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I really mean that. I do. Please, this week, please have a great week. Please have a safe week. Please do not drink and drive. Drink in the comfort of your home, your apartment, your hotel room. You know the drill. You know, I've said this many times before. Call an Uber, call a Lyft, call a cab, get a friend or whatever, but pretty much do not drink and drive. I've lost people. I've had friends that have been severely injured for life from that, and I've lost people from that. And so it's really it's really something that I'm passionate about. Please do not drink and drive. Please do not text and drive, because it's also extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Because I want you to have a great week, and I want you to have a safe week. So you can join me here again next week on the Saturday Night Wine Stream, and we can all get together and drink with Rick.